朋友们，最近欧美国家齐聚一堂，听川老师来训话，意料之中的大闹和意料之外的丝滑转弯，构成了川普达沃斯之行的核心剧情。当日，川普在社交媒体真实社交发文宣布，基于跟北约秘书长马克·吕特的富有成效的会晤，双方已经就格陵兰岛以及北极地区未来协议构建框架。原定于2月1号生效的对欧关税呢，将不再实施。这个突如其来的转折瞬间就打乱了欧盟原定在布鲁塞尔举行的经济峰会。该会议呢，本是旨在凝聚统一战线，应对美国的经济胁迫和领土野心。市场呢随即给出了强烈的反应，美股三大指数集体收高，道指上涨了 1.21%， 纳指涨了 1.18%， 而标普500指数涨了 1.16%。此前呢，因为关税威胁引发的抛售美国行情也彻底的逆转，科技股和能源股领涨反弹，欧洲各国表面上纷纷的欢迎鼓掌，但是这个掌声中夹杂的更多是庆幸和忐忑。毕竟呢，能推翻川普决策的往往是第二天的川普本人。但是关税反转的惊喜并未持续太久，几个小时后的达沃斯演讲中呢，川普又将欧洲骂了个狗血喷头。用 CNN 的评价，这一场演讲充满了对欧洲同行的不满和屈辱，其核心论调始终围绕着美国之上的霸权逻辑展开。在格陵兰岛问题上呢，川普虽然公开承诺不会使用武力，称这是最重要的声明，但随即强调该岛是美国核心国家安全利益，直言那是我们的地盘，并且向欧洲发出最后通牒：你可以答应，我们会非常感激；你也可以说不，我们会记着。令人啼笑皆非的是演讲中呢，他4次把格陵兰岛误称为冰岛，但是呢，地理认知的混乱丝毫未掩盖其清晰的战略意图。该框架呢，实则涉及美国在格陵兰岛的矿产开采权和精穷导弹防御系统部署计划。而且他还点名辱骂了多国，指责丹麦忘恩负义，称二战时美国保护了被德国6小时攻陷丹麦，扬言没有我们，你们都会说德语和一点日语，还嘲讽东道主瑞士没有美国就不是瑞士，并且透露曾经因为瑞士的女领导人的关税请求而不舒服，便大幅增加了对瑞的关税。他还模仿法国总统马克龙的声调进行调侃，威胁对法国葡萄酒和香槟加征 100% 的关税，甚至呢又对加拿大总理卡尼发出不祥的威胁。此外呢，美联储主席鲍威尔、民主党议员奥马尔、前总统拜登等等也均在其辱骂名单之列。当然了，川普讲话怎么可能省略老对手中国呢？只不过现在的川普可不敢当面说中国坏话，相反他老是渲染中国强大、中国人聪明，或者说狡猾，来恐吓小弟。比如这一次川普就声称中国几乎制造了所有的风力发电机，但是中国却没有风电场，全然无视中国在风电领域的全球领先地位。更荒唐的将格陵兰岛描述为处于美国、俄罗斯和中国之间的战略地理位置，完全背离了地理事实。尽管呢关税威胁暂时解除，欧洲各方呢仍然是保持着高度的警惕。有欧盟的官员直言，他可能明天就反悔，对每个欧洲国家征收关税或者决定动武，希望领导人不要上当。说到底呢，欧洲这一次就是暂时松了口气，但是心里肯定没底的。川普今天能够180度转弯，明天保不齐就360度绕回来，谁也猜不准他下一步要干嘛。而川普这一波操作呢，也彻底说明美国现在就是凭着实力来耍横。在他眼里，盟友也好，小国也罢，都要围着美国转，不听话就威胁，顺心了就松口，完全没个准谱。这也看得出来世界早就不是以前那么回事了。所谓的规则越来越不管用，强国说了算的味道越来越浓，连加拿大都开始琢磨着要和其他国家抱团自保。世界已经和平了大半个世纪，很多中小国家其实已经忘记了国际社会的本质是什么，他们以为靠着联合国和国际法就可以获得跟世界大国一样的地位。我们现在川普跑过来用大号的肉喇叭亲自告知，你们都是我的韭菜，做好被割的宿命吧。话糙理不糙，这个话中国肯定说不出来，所以还得是川建国同志下手狠。
Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark, tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled, we did it, we felt an obligation to do it, to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory, and hold it we did at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. You know, when we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, you know, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth, no such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere, and we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. You know, for 2 centuries they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however. In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses. But as you know, they spent less than 1% of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there. And I say that with great respect for Denmark, whose people I love, whose leaders are very good. It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired, there's nothing wrong with it. Many of them, some went in reverse, actually, if you look. Some had great, vast wealth, great, vast lands all over the world. They went in reverse. They're stuck back where they started. That happens too. But some grow. But this would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that. And when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return. And I've been a critic of NATO for many years. And yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any other person. You wouldn't have NATO if I didn't get involved in my first term. The war with Ukraine is an example. We are thousands of miles away, separated by a giant ocean. It's a war that should have never started, and it wouldn't have started if the 2020 U.S. presidential election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. You can't have rigged elections. You need strong borders, strong elections, and ideally a good press. I always say it. Strong borders, strong elections, free, fair elections, and a fair media. The media is terrible. It's very crooked. It's very biased, terrible. But someday it'll straighten out because it's losing all credibility.